On today's episode of Gathering the Kings,
I'm going to talk about the hero's journey. This is a very popular, famous story arc. When you're marketing, you're not the hero. Okay. You're Gandalf. Okay.
Right.
You got to help out Frodo by helping him be the hero. And you just be the cool wizard in the background.
You are listening to Gathering the Kings with Chaz Wolfe, featuring fellow 7, 8, and even 9-figure business owners who have real battle scars from business and life, but have prevailed as the king that they are designed to be. We welcome high-performing entrepreneurs to the stage in order to reveal the real of the real on what it takes to build a successful business today. We dissect the good and bad decisions they've made along the way that give a true and accurate picture of the journey of success and how you too can get there. Through this dialogue, you will learn the value of growing your network and surrounding yourself with power players and kings like today's guest. Grab your pen and notebook because we're about to dive in. What's up, everybody? Chaz Wolfe, Gathering the Kings podcast. Today, I've got Doug Crowe on the King stage. My brother, how you doing?
Good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I appreciate the smile because off air, we were just talking about some life potentially altering things. I'll let you fill in the gap, some of that on if you want to share that. But we're right in the middle of hearing a king on the other side here with Doug work through some heavy circumstances. So I'm curious to see how this will affect the show. I'm excited for it since you've got such a great mindset. But Doug, tell us what kind of business that you got, brother.
Sure. We have a ghostwriting and publishing company. We actually help people create a best-selling book without them writing a single word.
Love it. So concise. You say it just like you mean it. Yeah. And so are these people in different industries? Are these people, give us an understanding of who you write books for.
There are mainly C-suite folks, founders, guys who started a company, ran a company, exited a company, but they're people who have a message either in business or maybe personal that they feel a very strong urge to get out there and share with the world.
Yeah.
And it's important to know what we don't do. I don't do like technical books, kid books, novels, romance novels. We don't do that stuff. I can help them promote it, market it with our skills and a team that we have. But our core business is helping people get their story and their message effectively out there to whom they want to get it out to.
That's fantastic. So what you're saying is that as I continue to build this Gathering the Kings brand, that I might need to tell a story through writing a book. Is that what you're telling me, Doug?
I'm just saying that stories matter because we don't remember the Pythagorean theorem, but I remember very fondly about my little dog, Tippy. There's a big difference between storytelling and data. So
That's right. I love how you broke it down too. So I'm going to be anxious for you to tell us some stories here since you're such a good storyteller here, Doug. And so before we get rolling, why are you doing it? Why are you still doing it? What's the deeper tick for you?
It's a long story. How much time do we have here? No, the medium version. I hate when people say to make a long story short and they never do. It's always long.
Yep.
So to make a long story medium, the most important thing I've found in my years is that stories do matter, especially when they change the world or change a person, which is some of the same thing here. But a story has so much power to it. A story predates language, for God's sake. We were telling stories before we had the words to speak them. We drew cave drawings. So stories are important for communication, for relationships, but mainly for improving ourselves and the world around us. Now, that's the high view. I think you also asked, how did I get so poetic?
Why? I want to know why. What's the deeper level? Like, why are you doing this?
It wasn't to make money, I'll tell you that. My first entree into this world, I spent 20 years in real estate. I developed apartment buildings and had a real estate radio show and had a school I founded, which taught real estate investing. We did very well with that up until 2008. And then my whole world changed in a very dramatic and profound way. I was the guy that was technically voted most likely to succeed in high school, president of the class, made millions in real estate, had a radio show, great life. And then God's like, hey, by the way, Mr. Humility, let me just show you something here. Boom, everything goes away. All the real estate, all the savings, all the retirement, marriage, house. People said, 2000, I had a foreclosure. And I hate to do one up. Yeah, I had 19. 19 foreclosures and a bankruptcy. So it was not a fun time. Yeah. And people say, a great learning experience. No, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I don't like that. Now, I can learn from it, but I wouldn't want to do it again. And out of that, during my little boo phase, I wrote a book and the book sucked. It was just awful. So when it's all done, I'm like, what did you just do? It's like, I'm trying to do something. But I went back to some of my guests that I had on a radio show. I had interviewed Robert Kiyosaki, Laurel Langmeyer, some other luminaries. They revealed to me that they're best-selling authors, not best-selling writers. They have ghostwriters. And so I've, over the years, have really refined a really nice, tight system to take a person's story, message, ideas, and properly convey it with a journalist, ghostwriting, editing team that captures their essence, their power, and actually makes them sound better than they actually are.
Yeah, I love that. And so the story, or the why, obviously partially survival, but I love how you've turned it into this thing that means something. And you're like, okay, do you wake up every day thinking I get to touch entrepreneurs all across the country, or C-level suite folks? Or is it the end user that's reading the book? Or is it I get to work with my team? What wakes you up? What gets you excited?
That's a really great question. Both.
Okay.
I just got off the phone with a new client who's launching the largest stem cell clinic in Mexico.
Wow.
And I have my own stem cells done on my own knees. So I'm like, I love this topic. Let's do a book. But I talked to my team 3 hours earlier, and some of them have been with me for 13 years. And I'm responsible for their family's livelihood. And I take that responsibility very seriously. So yeah, I enjoy people and the stories I get from my team, my clients. And you mentioned a good point about my clients' readers. I've got to really know them, or at least get to know them, so that when we craft their book, we're going to resonate and connect with their people. And most authors, quite frankly, Chaz, they don't do this. We have a very refined vet and validate process where we vet and validate their idea before the book is written. We'll do focus groups, research, we split test covers and ideas and titles. And the more we do that, the more we realize that the reason there's so many authors that aren't selling any books is because they're just, saying what they want to say without asking what people want to read.
Want to hear. Yeah, read. Wow. Yeah, so good. And you hear those things. You hear, well, ask your clients or ask this or whatever. And it just, a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we're moving really fast. And so it's maybe a little easier for us to just put out whatever we think is good.
It's actually deeper than that. We're afraid of getting rejected again.
Ooh.
Imagine going to your clients and saying, hey, what'd you like about it? Why'd you hire me? Oh, because you're so handsome. Who here has gone to the people that didn't hire them?
Yeah.
And said, hey, we didn't engage. That's fine. I'm really curious. What could I have done differently to win your business? Or who did you go to and why? If you've got the stones to do that, you can be miles ahead tomorrow where you are today.
Yeah, 100%. I think if we ended the podcast there, that would be enough value. Just scrap the whole thing right here, drop the mic. But in all seriousness, wow, what you're saying is to be able to get genuine feedback. And this applies not just to some big tech company or a stem cell guy, but it applies to the guy building a garage door company or right? Like we all have the clients, we all have the folks that have the desire or the need, and we got to figure it out.
That's right. And asking the questions and surveys and all that stuff are fine. But also, I got to say that whole social media standoffish communication thing is really doing a disservice to a lot of businesses and people. Pick up the phone and talk to them. Or if you really want the real data, real raw data, hire someone to do it for you. So, because maybe that person who either hired you or rejected you might not be 100% authentic or truthful to you because they might be afraid to embarrass you or offend you.
Give you the real reason.
Pay someone a few $100 to go and talk to these people and use their words in your marketing or your reset. So you make sure that you're resonating with what they're saying.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, you can tell you're a studied marketer and as well as storyteller, because you tell stories, and I'm still very much learning this as myself, but you tell stories that are obviously applicable to you, but then that specifically land with the people that you're trying to communicate to. Okay, so you gave us a little bit of your story. I want you to go back even further. How did you get in real estate? Like, how did entrepreneurialism start for you? Give us that.
Back in high school, we had a Super 8 camera, a film camera, right? So we were making movies. And when you're 17, 18, like, you haven't had any life experience to drag you down. So you can do anything. Right. So I'm going to go be a filmmaker. I went to Northwestern, got a degree in radio, TV, and film.
Okay.
And that's fun. That's cool. I tried to take a business class at Northwestern. They said, no, we don't do that here. It's just education. I have to get a job or start a company. Oh, no, we don't do business. I tried to audit a business class. It wouldn't let me. What? Yeah, don't even get me started on the university system. But I did take an internship and a couple of jobs doing some things, and I really found it interesting. My first job out of college was at ABC TV station in Cleveland, Ohio, where I'm from.
Okay.
And a guy came in there one day to do an interview, and I'm the lighting director. So I turn lights on for the news, and then I turn lights off for the news. And sometimes a bulb goes out, and I got to change it. I got to change it for a whopping $3.11 an hour.
Yeah.
So one day, a gentleman comes in and do an interview for the morning show, And he's talking about this real estate topic. I'm like, this is really cool. I know more about this. This is 1984. And I go up to him after the show. I said, Mr. Allen, Mr. Robert Allen, tell me more about this real estate thing. Oh, just come to my high price seminar. I'm like, he didn't say high price, but it was $5,000 for his weekend boot camp.
That's
and
right.
I'm like, I make $3.11 an hour. To this gentleman's credit, we all know Robert Allen, or you should. He's a great marketer. He said, you can't afford my seminar. Go to the library and check out one of my books.
Yeah.
And I did. And being 24 years old, I read it, no money down. I did exactly what he said. I didn't question it. I was making goofy, stupid, no money down offers and getting rejected left and right until one day someone said, okay. Wow. And I bought my first 4-unit building at 25 years old, sold it a year and a half later, made, I don't know, 16 grand or something like that. Yeah. And then just kept going, and houses, apartment buildings. I bought a convent. That's a fun story.
Yeah. Wow.
Imagine putting an ad in the paper. I'm looking for 19 nuns to rent out this convent. It doesn't happen. So I converted it to a multifamily building, obviously, but I did a couple office buildings, condo conversions. It was a lot of fun. So I got involved in real estate from one guy's line saying, go to the library and check out a book. So I guess it comes full circle. And what I ended up doing is, well, you know what, that book thing has got power to it, especially at a young age, because I didn't question it. Yeah. People our age, well, that doesn't work. That's crazy. I can't do that. I'm like, I don't know. It worked for me. I bought office building, no money down once. It was a little bit complicated. It was a lease option. So I leased the building from the owner in order to fund the down payment that I gave him a year later.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Made a few.
I mean, the reality of what you're saying, first off, I hear you in the book, right? You took some advice and you just did it. Yep. I think that point right there, it goes by far as like, we got to make sure we at least say it, because there's so many times where even somebody here listening to this podcast is going to hear you say something and they're going to go, ooh, and then they don't.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite books recently is Mel Robbins, The 5-Second Rule.
Yeah. Big.
If you have an idea or an inspiration, take action immediately on that, because the power and the energy behind that thought dissipates rapidly. So taking it doesn't mean you're going to have to complete it. Doesn't mean you have to even do it, but take some action towards it so that you can see if it's going to come to fruition or not. And I do that with my emails now. Somebody says, hey, can you introduce me to somebody? I got 2 minutes. I'll do it right now. Because if I tell myself, yeah, I'll get to that tonight, what happens? Doesn't happen, or I forget about it or something. So take action quickly, rapidly, and often, and fail fast, fail forward thing. It's real. It's real.
It's real. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So much good stuff here. Let's talk about, maybe you can talk about your real estate years, but you can also talk about the second wave of success that you've had. Yeah. I want to know a good decision that you made, specifically earlier on, where you can look back and go, okay, that thing that I did, boom, I can share that as something that is a staple of a good decision.
Wow. A long while ago, or like, I can't do one from last month, getting married. That was
Hey, that's a good decision. No, that's fine. Go ahead. Yeah. I want to know that one.
It's a tender story, because I was single at the time and dating, and I saw this one gal's dating profile where she was talking about books, whatnot. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'll talk about that. She's beautiful and brilliant, and hey, let's date a little bit. And she started ghostwriting books for me. And at the time, this is pretty good. I'm a CAD, so it didn't work out. A couple years later, I'm like, I'm kind of done being a CAD. I think I'll go ahead and be an actual man now. And so we had stopped talking for, I don't know, almost a year or so. I'm done with you. And we both had a little growth phase, right? So when we basically went through that phase, we connected, and I can't imagine life without her.
Different person.
The company like tripled in volume that year. Just things went through the roof, personally, professionally. There's not a single day doesn't go by where it's like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's not disparaging people who choose a single life, mind you. There's a lot of value and advantages to that, quite frankly. But when they say that behind every man, there's a good woman or a greater one, in my case, it's true. It's like we get so much more done, and it's so much better to share your success with someone who believes in you and values you and is there for the journey.
Yeah. Everything that you just said, I resonate with, obviously, is it's much of I'll run into the fire. You don't need to inspire me. You don't need to motivate me. I'm already probably looking to jump in it. But to hear when I come back, thanks, or man, thank you or we're proud of you, or thanks for doing that for the family. I'll go do 10 more fires.
It is fuel for the ego, not the bad part of the ego, but the good part, the part that drives you. It's a lot of people have that. The 5 love languages, right? The words of affirmation are very valuable. Gosh, read a Dale Carnegie book or Think and Grow Rich. It's encouragement, earning your appreciation, lavishing your praise.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's big. It's funny when I'm talking to people about Gathering the Kings on the mastermind side. It's people love to talk about business strategy or connections or passing ideas across the table. But every time I say this one thing I'm about to say, it always feels a little odd because it feels flowery. It feels soft.
Good. I like it.
But when someone says, hey, dude, I think that's right. Like, I think based on how we've been masterminding together for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months, years, whatever, that's in line. Like, you should keep doing that. Like, it's encouragement is really what it is.
Yeah.
It's, I see you, I hear you, and you're right on. You should keep going. It's a little bit of a clap of the hands. Like, hey, you can do another round. And even though that sounds soft, man, we guys like us run hard. Yeah. And when we've got a wife or another guy in a mastermind group going, dude, this is great. I believe in you. Man,
I reconnected with an old friend just yesterday. He called me Sunday morning because I commented on an old 2019 YouTube post that he did. I'm like, man, this was great. And I hadn't talked to him in, I think, 10 years. He calls me up Sunday morning. Hey, Doug. Hi, Michael. How are you? And he said, I just want to tell you something. I'm like, yeah. Goes, remember when you had me speak at your real estate event like 12 years ago, vaguely? Because I just wanted to thank you because it was very impressive to me that you had created this community and built a business around it. And it was just really nice to watch. And I thought, wow, how can I be as, like you? And like, Michael, I've been always admiring you. You're the one with the speaking all over the world and whatnot. So it was just, it was just interesting to bring the point of other decisions you make. All right. So we'll get to one more decision because that was my biggest one recently. But over time, and sometimes it doesn't pay off, where you actually do things that have no benefit to you whatsoever. Right. They pay it forward, karma, whatever you want to call it. But commenting on that guy's video, I guarantee you will turn into some business later, a renewed friendship, whatever. Yeah. So again, 5-second rule, do something, do it, be positive, appreciation, give love, give comments. One of our strategies for our author clients when they're building their database up is to target your top 100, whatever it is, but you better do it early because most authors, they create their book and they got, now what? Oh, now I want to be a bestseller. How big's your database? Who knows you? Nobody. All right. We should have worked on that about 10 years ago, but since we can't go back in the time, let's go ahead and start now. So starting to like, share, and comment on your target, whether it's nonprofits, corporations, individuals, influencers, start doing that early and often and do it authentically, do it with sincerity. Don't just say, hey, good stuff. Comment intelligently on other people's stuff. You do that often enough and authentically, you're going to create a great group of people around you. I start out doing books for anybody. Now, like our top clients are 9-figure people and a couple of billionaires. They're just people that are, one of them's changed the world. He's an inventor, right? He's invented a little thing you've heard about. It's called GPS and started stamps.com. And there's just so many people that we work with. And I couldn't believe they'd be my friends even 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, no, it's so true. So many nuggets. I hope that the listener takes this opportunity just to hit the pause button, hit the little back by 30 seconds, 60 seconds, go back a couple 30-second slots and re-listen to everything that Doug has just shared. I want to know a bad decision, something you did that obviously you learned from, I bet, but what can you share with the listener specifically early on when you were trying to build something, maybe even building up the book business? Yeah. Something bad that I did? Yeah. Bad decision. Oh, bad decision. I'm a fan of the nothing is good as bad. It's only a thought that makes it. Yeah. But I can tell about a poor decision I made. I've made plenty of those. Yeah. A lot of entrepreneurs are very impulsive, right? We hire fast and fire slow. I still get caught by just buying stuff because it looks, because salespeople love other good salespeople. If I have really good copy, I might not even want it, but I want to buy it. Right. So I would caution people to do, I have a sleep test thing that I do nowadays where I see something like, oh, that's a really cool thing. I want to get that. And now I say, oh, it's a special. It's only good for a couple hours. Yeah, whatever. I always sleep on at least one night. Yeah. If I wake up the next day and I still want it, I generally get it. Yeah. If I forgot about it, I just save myself some money because it was just the hype that was exciting me, not the value. That's not only important as a consumer, but as a marketer, as a business person. Yeah. Make sure you talk about value, not just FOMO and all that stuff in your copy. You've got to actually provide value and treat people the way they want to be treated. It sounds obvious, but so often I see people still selling like it's 1980 or it's like, hey, look at me in a private jet. And like, I don't know who you are and why I care. It makes no sense to me. I'm going to talk about the hero's journey, which is a very popular, famous story arc. When you're marketing, you're not the hero. Okay. You're Gandalf. Okay. You got to help out Frodo by helping him be the hero and you just be the cool wizard in the background. So I had a plane for a few years, but nobody ever saw me in it because it was just my plane to get places. My heroes were my clients.
Yeah, I love that perspective. So what was the bad decision?
The bad decision was buying stuff you probably before the sleep test was invented. Sorry, got off on a tangent there.
No, it's good. I knew where you were going.
Yeah.
Well, give us an example. What did you not sleep test that you should have?
You're gonna hate. I can't mention names, of course, because I love the guy still. And you love the topic though. His course was how to close one call close, and he was great. It was high ticket stuff, right? We're in 5-figure land here, and like his reputation. Oh, this is awesome. It was at the time for me, it was probably the most expensive thing I had purchased. And I had leads coming in to support his tutelage, so it worked out well for 2 months. But the third month, like, I didn't have any leads. He goes, if you don't have any leads, I can't really help you out. But I still made the payment. So that was it wasn't a big $5,000 here. Oh, I got a bigger one for you. I got $150,000 mistake for you. I think.
Okay.
No, 50.
Yeah.
But 151, that's different. I'll do the $50,000 error. That's a better one.
Yeah.
So I'm in the real estate world. I'm buying, selling, rehabbing, flipping. I'm doing everything. I've got a school. I'm teaching people how to invest. I got a radio show on ABC in Chicago. I'm like the guy.
Okay. You're winning.
So I thought, so I'm like, I've been doing these 10, 20, 30 unit buildings. I want to play with the big boys. I want to buy a 250 unit building. Okay, Doug, go ahead and do that. But in Chicago, that would be like prohibitive. But in Florida at the time, like I could do one of those. It'd be like, I forgot what it was. I think it was 3 or 4 million, maybe put $500,000 down or so. And I could do it, but I was probably going to borrow money to do it. You inspect a house, it costs you $500. Inspecting a 250 unit building, the inspection fee was $50,000. So I'm like, I flew my plane down there. I'm looking around like I can do this. $50,000 for inspection. Here's a check. Let's go, Big Daddy. On the plane ride home, there was a newspaper. I have autopilot, so I'm just looking over it. I read this article. It says real estate crashing in Vegas and Florida was next. This is 2007. I'm like,
wow.
Oh. I get back up north. I'm watching the marketplace and whatnot. The inspection comes back and my banker calls, hey, you want to talk about financing now? I'm like, I think I had to pull out of the deal because I saw the market start to trickle down there in Florida. And the investor I had partnered with, he was a close friend and he could stroke a check for the $500,000. And I'm like, I can't ask him for it because I had a feeling it was going to go worse. And it did get worse. It got much worse, as we all know at the time.
Yeah.
So that was a $50,000 error. And that was really was ego-based. Everything I had touched worked. Yeah. I never lost a dime in real estate. Everything went up. I made money. Whatever I did, it made money. So when I went from 30 units to 250 units, I could afford it, but could I afford to lose it? Yes and no. I could, but I didn't like it. It was a painful day.
Yeah.
Or a month, really. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the decision there, along with maybe the other one, is to pause in the decision, make the decision process a smidge longer, not as impulsive.
Always be broke. Always think you're broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No ego.
When you make money, you tend to spend what you have. And I think I'm insulated from that because I'm a real estate investor. I'm not in stocks and whatnot. And I had a lot of equity. I had cash too. If you have the mindset that you're always broke, you don't waste money.
Yeah.
And I had wasted it several times. My wife thinks I still do a little bit, but I'm better now. But no, the big thing when you get success, put stuff away.
Yeah.
Go back to being lean. You can pay cash for things when you're rich, but the rich don't. Yeah. They still borrow money. They borrow from their own assets.
Exactly. All right. What kind of discipline or process do you have now when it comes to making a decision? Now that you have all this experience.
Oh, I've got a super intelligent wife. I've got patience. I got the sleep test.
Yep. And
I also, funny, mentioned about entrepreneurs and the shiny object syndrome, which I think most suffer from. I'm a poster child for. I have new ideas for business, this business, other businesses every day. And I have a team of people that work for me. And every week or so, I say, I want to do this project. I want to do this thing. I want to do a contest. I want to do this new platform. I want to do a new speaking thing. And they're really nice. They're really, they're beautiful people, right? And it took them a few months to finally go, maybe we could just do one project. Oh yeah, my business coach told me that too. Yeah, I got to remember. The shiny object syndrome is a real disease for entrepreneurs.
Yep.
And we've all met people who are like, maybe not as smart as us, but are super rich or own something as boring as like a manufacturing company or whatever it is. But they just do the same thing over and over again, just build upon it. I took a certified commercial investment manager course, CIM in real estate. And it's a high level course for buying shopping malls and stuff.
Sure.
And I'm talking to the instructor there, and he tells a story about 3 guys who out of college and back in the 60s or 70s started buying houses and investing and holding and rehabbing them. And after about 3 or 4 years, 2 of the guys have made, a couple $100,000, and they decided to sell out. Now, one guy said, I'm going to just hold my stuff and just hold it and just hold it and just hold it. All right. And he did that for 30, 40 years. And this was the beginnings. And you may or may not know this company. It's called Inland Real Estate, multi-billion-dollar real estate holding company.
Wow.
Because he did one thing.
Hold.
Which is another good book, by the way. The one thing, just bought and hold, bought and held, bought and held. And that's it.
Yeah.
So I've been disciplining myself with the help of my team and my spouse to focus on the one thing. How can I help my next client sell a ton of books?
That's right.
And the last one is just inked the deal for 63,000 books. He's got a $1.2 million book deal from one client. So we're going to work on duplicating his success with our other clients.
I love it. I love it. Okay. I want to come at you in a different angle here. Some speed round questions.
All right, go for it. The answer should be like one sentence, or what do you need?
Yeah. I want you to give me what you got. We got time. We're moving. Yeah, we're moving pretty good here. I want you to take your business. I want you to take this ghostwriting, incredible book selling, marketing conglomerate that you have. And I want you to dwindle it down into one trackable metric. If you could only track one thing forever and ever, what would it be?
Track one thing?
Yeah. If you could only track one thing, a metric.
Track. Oh, great question. So there's leading indicators, lagging indicators. Most people try to track their lagging ones, leading ones. If I could, and I should, I do a little bit. Referrals.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what does the referral metric tell you that why you would name it number one?
It tells you a bunch of things. Number one, it tells you doing a good job for somebody else. Yeah. And number two, it tells you your sales cycle is going to be cut in half for sure. And number three, a referral is, we all know this, the math on this, that the acquisition of a new client is 5 or 10 times more expensive than selling an existing one. So it's very similar to just upselling, but a referral is gold. One of the first books I read, Bob Burg's Endless Referrals, changed my life. I was a salesman at Nextel Communications, and myself and other guy, the top 2 guys of the company, just did what Bob said. Just do this, guys. And we outsold everybody at the company because we were basically just getting referrals without asking for them, by the way. We would get referrals, and I'm talking about thousands of referrals without ever asking.
Yeah, incredible. What I just heard you say is that there was another book in your life that you just listened. You just read it and did it.
Yeah. And I got crap from my manager because Bob said, put your picture on your business card. At the time, at a corporate company, you don't do that. And my boss said, put your picture on the Nextel logo. You can't do that. I'm like, yeah, I did.
Yeah. I didn't ask. I already have.
I just did it. Yeah, I just did it. Because we were salary with a commission, and it was field sales, by going to the office once a week. And it's just, it was a funny time. Yeah.
You had some room to be entrepreneurial. Okay. So this is a question that I can't wait to hear your answer because you're a book guy.
Yeah.
What book would you recommend for a 6-figure business owner?
So many.
I know. Maybe you could give 2 or 3, but for sure one.
It depends on where they are, right? Because 6-figure is such a loose term. Let's make it.
It is.
Wow. My last favorite book, quite frankly, is might not be relevant to everybody, but Flip the Script by Oren Klaff was the best storytelling book about growth, about raising capital. So if a guy wants to go from 6 or 7 figures and wants to do it organically, you can do that probably just duplicating what you want to do. But if you want to go raise $1 million or $2 million and expand your business or buy a company or something, you will not go wrong with Flip the Script. It was just phenomenal storytelling. And his previous book, Pitch Anything, was really good also, but I like Flip the Script a little better.
Love it. Okay. What do you think about networking, masterminding with other entrepreneurs?
There's levels of that, right? I don't know what you guys do, but I've been involved with a bunch. We've done 6 books for Vistage, CEO peer group. And everybody I meet there they're like Dale Carnegie graduates. They're just like the nicest people on the planet. I've created my own ad hoc one with my clients. My wife and I say every week or so, we're getting our MBA every year by just ghostwriting and publishing books for people who are in these other elements, mergers and acquisitions or health sciences, things. We're learning so much doing it. So creating your own mastermind is different than networking. That's right. So I would definitely do both. There's no downside of doing both. Your question was my opinion on it. They're great. Yeah, do them.
I love it. And I was gonna say, I think you gave a great description there of maybe the difference between the two as well. Yeah. Okay. What would you do if you only had 1 hour each week? How would you use the 1 hour to successfully run your business if you only had 1 hour?
I would give referrals away.
Okay. Give us a little bit more. What does that mean?
I would actually, if I only had 1 hour, I would spend that entire hour giving referrals to my top clients. Now, that's too much. That's too much of a leap for people. I can explain why that would be the only thing.
I think, obviously, I know why. You're providing value to your top folks, and then that's going to come back around to you. But I want you to explain why you personally would choose that action, because there's a relationship component there that you're that you're tapping on that I want you to hit home.
On the slightly icky side, there's the emotional bank account thing that we read in 7 Habits for Highly Effective People. You only get what you give. There's only so much people can take when you're giving so much. They're compelled to give back. So in that sense, it's a little bit icky because you might expect it. However, when I give referrals, I never ask, hope, or expect anything in return, ever. And that energy comes across like, hey, I got a great person you should meet. And I do that every day. And right now, I don't do it consistently, but I do it very frequently. Yeah. And the reason this is important is 2 or 3-fold. Yes, sometimes they give you a direct referral back, but I got a referral from a guy, you got a story, right? Who I contacted as a vendor, and we chatted, great company, wasn't for me. You know what? This sounds cool, but it's not for me. We had a great conversation. He just gave me a referral for a $50,000 client.
Wow.
How many calls would you want to reject when someone's trying to sell you something? You go, I don't want that. I'm going to hang up the phone. But it might have cost you 50 grand. In my case, I listened. The guy was great. He was professional. I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to say, not for me. Maybe I have somebody for you. I think I probably did send him a couple of podcast guests or something.
Sure.
But that's what I would do. I would give referrals, not just to get them back, but for the energetic part of that, of being a person who's respected. Your brand goes up, your referrals come in. And they might not come directly. They could come from, or they might circle around or something, but that's what I would do if I only had 1 hour a day.
Yep. I love it. Okay. Last question.
Okay.
Doug, if you lost it all,
well, I have.
What would you do? What would you do?
I'd do it again. I tell you what, might be a funny answer for you entrepreneurs out there, but I would not start a company.
Okay. What would you do?
I'd buy 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. We've done a few books and we're building a platform of mergers and acquisitions.
Yep.
And it makes me actually, at my age, I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? Because we're creative. We want to grow something. Screw that. Somebody's already done all the work. Find a way to finance it. Just buy it.
Right. Yep.
I looked at some companies the other day to purchase, and oh my gosh, it's sad. 1 out of 12 companies that are trying to sell right now, only 1 out of 12 are going to close. 11 will just dissolve.
Yeah.
The baby boomers retiring. There's trillions of dollars of value that's going to evaporate because people aren't going to be able to, because little Johnny doesn't want to take on dad's or grandpa's brake shop. Yeah, I would definitely, if I lost it all, I don't need the money to buy a company, by the way. It's no money down real estate. You can borrow, you can do lots of things creatively, more so than real estate, actually. So yeah, I would buy start with 1 and then add on to them.
Yeah, love that. All right. How can a listener connect with you?
Great question. A great question. Our main website is authorbrand.com. And they are welcome to just contact me directly, Doug at dougcrowe.com. If you're thinking about doing a book, I actually have a very nice free offer for you guys, no obligation whatsoever, to actually vet and validate your book idea. And you'll spend about 45 minutes on the call with me. We walk through it, and I can give you some pointers on what to do to test your idea in the marketplace, see if it's a good book. And I'll definitely will give you at least 2 or 3 actionable items you can do to about 10x the value of the book. A book's $20. But what if you can make $100 or $500 for every one you sell?
Right. That
could really add up. So that's a free thing. Just shoot me an email, dougcrowe.com. That's Crowe with an E.
There you go. Like your cousin Russell.
My cousin Russell. I'm from Australia, mate.
That's right. Doug, you've been incredible. I'm so glad the listener didn't get to hear the very first few minutes of our conversation. You had a shipment.
I forgot about that until just now.
I know the shipment didn't go well, but hey, I almost lost the guest. I suggested that he take a minute. We reschedule, and he said, you know what? No, let me put it over here. I'm now with you. And this has been an incredible show. So thank you, Doug. I know that there'll be people listening, and probably myself, who need to go through your 45-minute validation of a book series, because there's lots of entrepreneurs out there with some ideas and some great businesses. And we need to connect with you to get our story out. So again, thank you for being here. We hope nothing but success and blessing for you, your family, your new marriage, and of course, your business.
All right.
Thanks for being
Same
here.
to you. Thanks, Chaz.
All right.
Thanks for listening to Gathering the Kings. We hope you got a ton of value today and learned a thing or two about taking your business to 7 figures and beyond. If you desire more and want a community around you to help you get there, I want you to go to gatheringthekings.com. That's gatheringthekings.com. And I want you to apply for our next Becoming a King 90-day intensive. We are extremely exclusive by nature as a group. What that means is that we're really wanting only the entrepreneurs who take their business and targets super serious to apply. So if that's you, you think you got what it takes to level up your business, I want you to go to gatheringthekings.com and apply. And we will see you on the other side.